A Crown Tundra presentation finally dropped with some new and exciting news after a bit of a drought. We first get a glimpse of some NPCs in the Crown Tundra, a thing that was lacking from Isle of Armor since the vast majority of the NPCs were confined to the dojo. NPCs can be used to deliver exposition that can further flesh out the region or the story surrounding Crown Tundra. Another thing that was missing from Isle of Armor was trainer battles, so hopefully there will be some of those in Crown Tundra as well. They then show a pair of footprints, I'm assuming belonging to Calyrex. An investigation predicated on uncovering the mysteries surrounding a legendary Pokemon is already an infinitely more compelling narrative than what the Isle of Armor had to offer. They finally revealed what Galarian Slowking looks like. An interesting design to say the least. It shares the newly discovered Psychic Poison typing with its fellow Galarian brethren, Slowbro. Its signature attack, Eerie Spell, is a strong Psychic type attack that also removes 3 PP from the opponent's last used move. I've criticized Pokemon's PP system in the past for being largely inconsequential and often redundant, so it's nice to see an attack that actively engages with that system to dissuade players from spamming their strongest low PP moves. It still leaves a lot to be desired though in order for the PP system to have a greater impact on gameplay. Its unique ability, Curious Medicine, resets ally stat changes upon entering the battlefield. I was hoping Galarian Slowbro would activate Trick Room upon entering, but this is a cool ability in its own right. It can be paired with Pokemon that shoot off powerful attacks like Draco Meteor or Close Combat that grant stat debuffs in order to negate that downside entirely whenever you switch Slowking into battle. Megmortar, one of my all-time favorite Pokemon, makes a triumphant return. He can be seen firing from his hand cannons. There's just something so satisfying about having a Pokemon function as intended. Not all share in this privilege. There's some Avalugg in the water attempting to pass as sheets of ice, which is a really nice touch, blending Pokemon and the environment in organic ways. A lookout from up high while accompanied by a Dragonite establishes the scale of the Crown Tundra. It appears to be significantly larger than anything we've explored so far. Galarian Articuno is seen fleeing in the overworld. Perhaps you have to chase it down like roaming Pokemon of the past? They show off more of Dynamax Adventure. Instead of exploring in the overworld with your friends, like what was implied, you instead point 2 locations on a map and vote as a group where you will head next, which is extremely underwhelming compared to the initial premise of uncovering secrets with your friends, playing off of the expedition theme. You do get to choose rental Pokemon, which reminds me of the Battle Factory from Battle Frontier. There may be some strategy involved with the game board-like state of Dynamax Adventures. The NPC in the corner might fully heal everyone's Pokemon, which incorporates a layer of strategy involved determining where you should go and when. There's also items you can collect along certain paths, which can be seen here as there appears to be apricorns or berries on the ground. Any additional incentive to partake is always welcome. The shadow of the Pokemon you encounter can be seen within the Dynamax smoke cover, including their typing. This incorporates further strategy as you may decide to challenge the Pokemon that would be easiest to take down with your current team composition. There's also an endless Dynamax Adventures feature where you can go as deep as possible until you bust. Every single legendary Pokemon from past titles makes a return, and they are all obtainable through the Dynamax Adventure feature. If you enjoy raid battles, then this is great news. If you're like me, it sounds like a terrible slog being forced to break through several Dynamax Pokemon before reaching the legendary at the end of the tunnel. Raid battles are far too slow and clunky to be enjoyable. Galarian Star Tournament is one of the most exciting new features of the expansion. Multi-battles that were randomly removed from the Battle Tower make a convenient return in the expansion pass to help incentivize and encourage additional consumer spending. They at least added additional allures to make its sudden removal and subsequent reintroduction worthwhile and enticing. The attraction that, on its own, is incentive enough to warrant play are the interactions between team members that helps to flesh out the characters in a fun and engaging way. The trainers partake in unique dialogue depending on who matches up with who. Milo, for example, exclaims how Nessa's water has his Pokemon all hot and excited. This alludes to the inherent synergy grass and water types share by covering each other's weaknesses, among other things. Siblings team up to take you down. Even DLC characters like Mustard makes an appearance. Leon mentions double champions when teaming up with you, which recognizes the progression of the main story, something the beginning of Isle of Armor failed to address. There can be a wide assortment of dream team combinations that I'm sure will leave the player wanting more run after run. Adding out-of-region trainers would take Star Tournament far above and beyond, but that's being incredibly optimistic. Regardless, this looks like both a fun and welcomed addition, even if we must now pay extra to gain access to old features. Follow Pokemon make a return. This is the first instance of the mechanic appearing outside of Armor Island. It's kind of funny how they market Follow Pokemon how it should be, as opposed to what it actually is. Maybe they patched it for Crown Tundra's release. Doubtful, as Virizion can be seen running after the player, so I'm assuming the yo-yo stop and go for faster Pokemon remains the same, which most likely means slower Pokemon will remain untouched as well. It conveniently cuts right before Virizion reaches the player. There's a few frames at the end of the trailer where the player character is pushing up against a giant tree, and it looks downright awful, like it came straight out of Ocarina of Time on the N64. It genuinely looks terrible. The rest of the areas, by comparison, look decent for the most part. Peony, the mustard of Crown Tundra, bears a striking resemblance to that of Chairman Rose. They have a similar skin complexion, same hair color with shaved sides, and even the same eye color. My theory is that he is possibly Rose's brother. It would be very interesting to pick up where things left off after Rose gives himself up. Interacting with Rose's brother grants the perfect opportunity to learn more about Rose, even if Rose as a character is written out of the story. It can retroactively shed a light on the source behind Rose's motivations and decisions he made throughout the main campaign. It can also give us further insight into Rose as a character. Other than my wishful thinking is confirmed Peony has a daughter and he cares about her a lot. You join them on their adventure to uncover the truth behind tales of legendary Pokemon in the area. There is a new item called the Ability Patch that allows a Pokemon to change its ability to a hidden ability if it has one. Accessibility options both for competitive players and casuals alike are always a good thing. Needless restrictions only serve to frustrate the player, so providing useful tools like this helps to alleviate some of that frustration. One concerning development regarding Pokemon Go and Pokemon Home is that, allegedly, Go users can only transfer Pokemon if they have enough of the Pokecoin microtransaction currency within that game. They are required to potentially invest in 2 different paywalls in order to transfer mere kilobytes of information. I'm not sure how easy or hard Pokecoins are to come by for free, but regardless, this seems like a bizarre choice seeing as how you can transfer Pokemon from Pokemon Go to Pokemon Let's Go free of charge, which can then be transferred to home. The Pokemon Company have a near infinite number of ways to monetize this franchise to the detriment of the consumer. Is this the beginning of the end for things to come? All in all, I'm looking forward to what Crown Tundra has to offer. I have a bunch of stuff in the works currently, and I will wrap up the DLC review as soon as Crown Tundra drops, so stay tuned for that. I want to thank both my patrons and YouTube mems for their continued support. I really appreciate it. Until next time, thanks for watching, you guys.